welcome back to my channel. Today I have a Roaring 20s inspired makeup tutorial for you all. So that's going to be just kind of a classic cut crease. And firstly, I just want to apologise for my puffing yet again. And if you can hear or see any shadows from the fan, it's just like unbelievably, ridiculously hot right now. So I'm just trying to work through it and do this tutorial for you anyway. So yeah. So to start off with, I'm not going to prime my face or anything like that just because really it's too hot and I can't be bothered, so go ahead if you want to prime your face. But I'm going to be using the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation in 115 Ivory and the Models Prefer Airbrush Buffing Brush. Now this one I picked because it's like a matte base, so I believe back in those days they all had like the really porcelain flawless airbrushed look, so this one will do the trick for that. Work that up into your hairline. Next up, I'm going to conceal using the Maybelline Fit Me concealer in 15 Claire, in 15 Fair. Claire is the other language. And I am doing that with the La Cura Beauty little brushy thingy. Not going to do under my eyes, I'm just going to do any spots that I have. No, you're not meant to put it straight on from the thing, but you know what? Who follows rules these days? It's not. Just blendy. It's best to pat the concealer in, which you will probably know. Because if you sort of brush at it, it just swipes it away. And it's like you never put any on in the first place. Now, what I think is one of the most noticeable features of the makeup back in those days was really chiseled out cheekbones. All the ladies had these beautiful, like, high cheekbones. So instead of contouring my whole face, I'm just going to contour the cheekbones out really well, and it was a really greyish contour. It wasn't like the bronzy sort of ones that you can have today. So to do that, I'm using this La Cura Beauty, what's it called? Define Contour Palette. It's got two shimmery shades, a bronzy shade and a contour shade, and I'm just taking that greyish one. Now it's really easy to build up, like it's great for beginners. Oh, it probably looks really harsh on camera, but I promise you it's not. I forgot to say I'm just using this Nude by Nature little contour brush for that. So beautiful. Also, actually, they did have quite contoured noses too, so I might just do a tiny bit. Now again, I'm just going to prime my eyes using the MAC Paint Pot in Soft Ochre, just using my ring finger for that one. So to set that, I'm going to, again, like always, mix the pinky shade and the banana shade in the AC on Tour palette, the Australis one, and just set that, do under my eyes and highlight down the middle of my face while I'm at it. Now, another signature thing of the makeup look back in those days was just the really classic pink blush, and it was sort of taken up, like right up the cheekbones. So for that, I'm using the NYX blush, just their standard blush in peach, and it's not a peach, it's just a plain pink, as I have mentioned before, but it's perfect for this look. And I'm taking a stippling brush because I've never used this one before, so I don't know how much it's going to come out. And also, I just want to be really careful with such a large area that I'm not overdoing it. So I'm just going to slowly work on that. It's beautiful. So now onto the fun part, which is the eyes, and I apologize in advance for this being sort of a tedious look. I have done it once before and I remember it being really like you have to redo this line over and over and over, and it does take it's kind of just winging it basically, pardon the pun because you are winging it, but you know what I mean, you just got to go back and forth until it turns out. So I'm just gonna start off and see how it goes. So to start off, I know it's a cut crease, but I am just going to take a transition shade through the crease just to put something there to work around. So for that I'm using this Starlet palette, weird cheap palette thing, and I'm just taking that brown shade in it, so it's just a standard brown on a blending brush, and I'm just going to take that through the crease. Fairly high up as well, because the cut crease, you do want your crease to show, so you actually do it just above your crease, so the smoking out will be above the crease. We are going to go in with this. I'm gonna go for this. This is what I did last time, so it should work. This is the Colourpop shadow in Downtown, so it's a real greyish, what's the word? Taupe colour, like that. So for that I'm going to take this little tiny pointy flat brush, just like could use an eyeliner brush or something like that, and I'm just gonna dip it in there and do what I said I was gonna do with the liner, but with this, because you know what? I'm disappointed with that eyeliner. Yes, this is much better. As neat as you want to be, like you do want to be quite neat, you don't have to be that precise, because like for the under bit, because you're going to go over it with white, and you can just make the white even, so that evens it out, if that makes any sense. Now as you can see, it is quite messy, so that's okay. Okay, so for the next step you take a little tiny pointy pencil-y brush that you can get into that crease with to smoke it out and make it not such a harsh line, and you're going to do that with the same Downtown colour. So really now it's all about backwards and forwardsing, just blending that out with this colour for now. So I'm just going to speed it up a little bit just so you don't get too bored. So now that we've smoked out that darker greyish tone, we're just going to go back with that light brown shade I used for the transition shade before, just to really sort of smoke it upwards a bit more, and you can also do that for the line down the bottom downwards, so you're smoking them away from each other. Now this part is optional, you can just go back in with a normal big fluffy blending brush and just do the upper layer, so it really just makes it seamless. You can either get a little bit of that brown colour on the brush, just use a plain clean brush. Right, so there you have it, that's your base of the crease, and now it's just to fill in the inside. And also you can work the brown under the lower lash line. So to get the base of really lovely white, I am using a white eyeliner. The creamier it is, the better, because then it just glides on. You don't get that pulling on your eyelid, but this one's pretty crappy to be honest, but it's all I got. So I'm just going to work with it and fill that in and be really neat under the crease there. Now you want to make sure it doesn't look like you've got crayon on your eyes, so you're just going to sort of tap it with your finger or a brush. You have to be really gentle though, not to smudge that darker colour. it's up to you. You can pick any white eyeshadow that you like. I'm picking a pearlized one. This is the Colourpop Shadow in Pearly Girly, and I'm just putting that right over the white that's already there. And you're also going to take that shade on your inner corner as well. And you can also then take that downtown shade under your lower lash line all the way through. Now for the real finishing touch of the eyes, it's mascara, and they always had big voluminous lashes, and so for this you would use fake lashes, but as I'm not going out anywhere after this and I don't really need it, I don't want to waste them, and also I really suck at putting them on, I'm just going to use a really volumizing mascara, and this is the Rimmel Scandalized Rockin' Curves, and I'm just going to go ahead and pop that on my lashes. Okay, that mascara didn't actually give it like any volume at all. As you can see, it looks quite plain. So I'm going to wait for that to dry, and I'll do the other eye off camera, and then I'm going to apply a second coat of mascara to both eyes, and then we will move on to the rest of the face and the lips. Okie dokie, so the eyes are all done. I also forgot to mention that you can use some of that girly shade as the brow bone highlight, but other than that, that's all done for the eyes. You can pick a much better mascara choice than I did, but I thought that one would do the trick and it didn't. So now we are moving on to the highlight, and for that I have an Essence highlight, and it is the Metal Glam Highlighter Powder in number 1 Gold Digger, and it is really stunning. Again, Essence has not let me down in this department, so that's what it looks like there. It's just a real, like a champagne-y type classic highlight, and I'm using that Aldi Lacura brush again for that. And you know what, I'm just going to go for it. I've actually really started to like the look of highlighter in the little ditch in your nose there, so I'm just going to put a little bit there. For lips, I'm going with the classic thing in those days, just a bright red, and I have the Rimmel London Apocalypse lip lacquer, and it is in the shade Rosetta? No? Big Bang, and it's a gorgeous bright red, as you can see. For the finishing touch of the look, just to get into the theme a bit and look a bit Marilyn Monroe-esque, I am going to do a beauty spot and just use that brown eyeliner for that. Now obviously you probably wouldn't do this if you're just wearing this look out, but this is just to like really get into character if you've got like a fancy dress themed party or something like that. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the all complete finished Roaring Twenties inspired cut crease look. I really hope you enjoy it. It's quite a bit easier than it looks, I guess. I mean, it is a lot of working backwards and forwards and that kind of stuff, but it really works for the best. Like, what's the word? It's worth it, basically. It's really worth it because I love it. If I had the time, I would wear this look every day. I just adore it. So please comment below any future makeup looks you'd like me to do, your thoughts on this one. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe. That would be great. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!